Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, July 8th at 7:30 p.m. I was thinking the last day or two about I feel like I'm watching a uh, a repeat of things that have happened many times in Monroe County with decisions, personnel moves. And I'll tie it all up at the end, but I'm going to take you guys on a little ride um, of some decisions that just pop in my head that I you know, it all makes sense in the end. This county has made some questionable HR decisions that have just gone bad. Okay, Monroe County, Georgia. We are north of Macon, south of Atlanta, for those of you that don't know. Um, I'll start off top of my list, Matt Perry. Matt Perry lost his job for lying and being a racist with the Macon PD. So then Forsyth bails him out and they hire him and promote him all the way to major. Now there, he was involved in a civil rights violation, including myself, where he lied, took out two warrants claiming things were said when he wasn't even there. He went, after putting me in jail, he went and went to these two cops that were there and tried to get them to lie, but they wouldn't do it. So he had no choice but to dissolve the warrants. I went all over this town telling everybody that had the authority to call the GBI. And there's, I don't know, about 10 people on the list. High sheriffs, DAs, mayors, things like that. I've got two cops willing to testify under oath. All I need somebody to do is pick up the phone and call the GBI. None of them would do it. Not a one of them. But Matt Perry went on and committed another civil rights violation against Terrence Shannon. Dropped the N-bomb, things like that. So he loses his job at Forsyth PD because the retired GBI lie detector test analyzer thought that he was on medication to affect the test. When they told him to sit down and take the test again, he resigned. Well, that should be the end of him, right? No. Monroe County Fire Department hires him to be the chief. Now, how'd that happen? Well, apparently there were plans in the works to make him the fire chief while Donnie Mercer was in charge for a little while. And when apparently the roadblock to that was Jim Ham. But when Jim Ham died in that accident in December of 2026, Matt Perry arrived and saw the condition of Jim Ham and said, well, I guess I'll be the next fire chief. And then several of you know that there was a secret meeting one night. Then county manager Anita Cawthon was there with Perry, one of the Herndons. I don't know who else was there, but the fix was on. They got rid of Donnie Mercer, shoved him right out of the way with some bullshit, and hired Matt Perry. And even though he's got that track record of being abusive to people under his authority, abusive to people in the public, they hired him. And I don't know how many years he was the chief here, but they ran him out again because he did the same crap he always does. Had some problems with employees and things of that nature. So Matt Perry was gone. Got out of here. I don't know why we hired him, but we did. They replaced him with Jason Lott. Immediately, people were like, what in the hell are they thinking making Jason Lott the fire chief? Now, Jason's not a bad guy. He's different, but he's not a bad paramedic. He's not a bad guy. He would have been fine for them to leave him right where he was as a paramedic. But they put Lott in a position that he didn't have the capability for it. He wasn't trained for it. He didn't have the demeanor, and it didn't take long for them to realize that was a bad move. But there was no real process. It's just picking somebody, somebody who's loyal to us, somebody who'd keep a secret, because Jason Lott was a snitch. before they promoted him. He would tell on everybody. But then I think about Ashley Woolley. Ashley, from what it sounds like, was a great assistant in the finance office. But when they got rid of Anita, somebody just said, give it to her. And, we had all kinds of financial issues. My ex-wife was working at the bank, and she would oftentimes have to call because simple deposits were screwed up. And when Ashley was gone, they blamed her. She didn't file this and she didn't do that. She didn't know what she was doing. They put her up there because they liked her. She's a good, loyal, and she screwed the money all up. Not her fault, though. They should have left, just like Lot. Lot should still be a paramedic getting ready to retire from Monroe County. But because they put him the chief and he fucked that up, they sent him on down the road. Ashley Woolley should still be in the finance office. David Fulmore. I just saw a wreck in the paper this week. Somebody had to be extricated through the windshield, they said. The picture did not have any struts. David got in trouble over some struts, and he got tired of being picked on by the fire chief, Matt Jackson. We'll talk about him later. But, going back to HR again, he wanted to appeal. He wanted to appeal the disciplinary action that was given to him for failure to put the struts up. When he wasn't a firefighter, he was the paramedic, the lead paramedic. So he was worried about patient care. He wasn't worried about stabilization, extrication, none of that. But anyway, in our bullshit HR policy here for Monroe County, you can appeal to the county manager. So he's appealing the disciplinary measures for that one event. When he arrived at the county manager's office, the county manager had his personnel file of 20-something years scattered about his desk. And part of what they talked about in that file was that 20 years ago, I don't know, 1990, I don't know, a long time ago, they wrote David up because gasoline was missing from the gas can at the Culloden Firehouse. And they wrote him up, and that stayed in his file forever. Now, David was a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 firefighter in a City of Culloden building with City of Culloden people, volunteers, all kinds of people coming and going. There's no way you could pin who took the gas without cameras. But to just say, you're the firefighter on duty, it had to be you. But regardless of that, if he's in there to appeal something that happened in 2025, why are you bringing up some shit that happened in 2005? I'm not here to appeal that. I'm here to appeal this. But he's gone. Let's talk about Landry Merkelson. Landry Merkelson was the fire chief in Clayton County. A lot of us know that Clayton County is a cesspool of dirty government. They're the only place I know of that their coroner's office was taken over by the state because it was crooked and stealing and money and all this crap. But as corrupt as Clayton County can be, Landry Merkelson kept his head clean, his case clean. He didn't get caught up in any scandals. Landry Merkelson got promoted to some sort of assistant manager role, county manager thing. Again, for a few years, he did that without getting caught up in the typical Clayton County crap. Well, when Jim Hedges put in for retirement, Landry Merkelson retired from Clayton. He put his name in. Dude's pedigree is awesome. We didn't even interview him. Think about that. Dude ran Clayton County without getting in trouble for years, and we didn't even interview him. Why? I asked. I was told they looked at his salary, and because he made somewhere around $220,000 at Clayton County, they knew he wouldn't settle for Monroe County money. Don't even waste your time interviewing him. Talking to Landry Merkelson, he's getting retirement. He's getting a couple retirement checks. Firefighter pension. He doesn't need $220,000. He didn't anticipate on $220,000. So about 2-3 months ago, I saw an announcement. Landry Merkelson got hired as the city manager for the city of Monroe. I reached out to him. Mr. Merkelson, please save me from an open records request and tell me how much money did you agree to with Monroe. $130,000. That's in line with what we were paying Mr. Hedges. I believe it's probably very close to what we're paying Lori today. We could have gotten a rock star, but they think about that. They didn't even bring him in for an interview to ask him about money, to ask him. The real reason I think they didn't bring him in because he's not one of ours. He's not proven. He's not going to keep the secrets and be quiet about the things that go on. Matt Jackson. When they hired Matt Jackson, there's a lot of negative how that happened. The guy's got a terrible track record up in, where was he from? Somewhere by the airport. East Point. I don't know where he was. East Point firefighters were calling in. I mean, but we hired him. But HR tried some kind of sneaky way. They were trying to make him the assistant manager so that when Lori retired in a year or two, they would slide him up as county manager. But there was enough negativity about it. The people and the government and whoever else, they raised enough hell to block it. But Lori Robinson, how did she become the manager? Well, the county manager of Monroe County is the only employee that responds directly to the Board of Commissioners. That's the only employee that they hire and fire. That's it. Mr. Hedges created the top 3 out of the 10 or whatever 15 applications they had. He picked the top 3. As he was presenting the top 3 to the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, mysteriously, 2 of them dropped out just before the presentation of the 3 names for the Board of Commissioners to choose. I reached out to both of them. I got their applications, emailed them both, called them. Why did you guys drop out? No response. Mr. Merkelson responded quick. What's he got to hide? Tell the truth. But these 2 guys that dropped out. So now you've got the outgoing county manager handing 1 name on a platter to the Board of Commissioners, Lori Robinson. Our Board of Commissioners wasn't even smart enough to recognize, no, go back, put 3 names, 5 names on this list. Let us see all the applications. They didn't do that. I don't know, they didn't even understand the process. They didn't understand. So we've got Lori. Now, Carlos Centillan. Carlos had a lot of people fooled, I'm finding out, myself included. Because now that he's gone and people are talking, there were a lot of red flags and indicators for a long time. Some people want to say something's wrong. He's medical this and it's a new issue. No, it's not. There have been red flags for a long time. I saw some. He said things to me that I looked at him kind of crazy and thought, whatever. But when the issue happened with Becky, this entire county, because Carlos was good with the people and he was good with the animals. So everybody stood up and patted Carlos on the back. You're the man. You're the next guy. You're perfect for this job. You're the one. You're the dude. Sheriff Freeman was over there. Hey, Carlos is the one. We want Carlos. He was telling me, chief deputy, the retired county manager. Everybody called. Carlos is the one. Carlos. They promoted Carlos to administrator. The one thing that they didn't do, they did what they always do. You got Lisa and you got Carlos left, right? Apparently, based on everybody else and seniority, Carlos had a year or 2 more than Lisa, so give it to Carlos. Everybody wanted Carlos. Here's a problem I didn't know, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's just a fact. Carlos struggled with spelling, writing sentences, paragraphs. I've said it before, There are great firefighters who could never be a fire chief. There's great cops who could never be a police chief. They lack the administrative values to sit there and push paperwork all day long, put a budget together. We didn't look at Carlos for that. We looked at Carlos as the guy everybody likes. He's got a good attitude. He's never been, mouthy. Everybody loves Carlos. Give it to him. And then they realized he can't spell cat. So that's when Jennifer comes in. Jennifer, I'm hearing from people now that put their name in the hat to be our animal control director. And I'm looking at some of their resumes like, why didn't we go this way? Why didn't we go with this one? We picked the one that has a history of alienating staff members, volunteers, rescue groups. We picked her, who lives in Noonan and has got no ambition to move here. And some of the things that she did in the past, the alienation, that's happening already. A dog died in her first week on the job. Reportedly, Lisa had gone home. Carlos and Jennifer were in charge, and the dog was found on its back, forelegs in the air, shaken. A rescue group knew about it. They posted about it on their page. It was shared with me yesterday. They thought it was severe heat exhaustion. They loaded the dog up before supposedly the story goes, before it got to the vet, it died. I don't know if Carlos ever took it in the doctor's office or not. I mean, at this point, I'm concerned he choked it out, because if they checked its core temperature, they'd be able to say, there's people begging right now to investigate if them dogs had water. And I've been told that it will be looked into. They're going to be looking to see if anybody put water in the bowls on whatever day. What was it? Apache? Was that the dog? Athena. To see what happened to Athena. Okay? But again, Carlos, good soldier. Sheriff stood up. That's the guy we want. Carlos. Why? Well, he didn't like Becky Gifford because the sheriff don't like animal cases. He don't like animals. He don't like dealing with it. There's laws. If you talk about marijuana should be legal, you'll hear deputies jump up and say, as long as it's in the law books, I'm going to write the ticket. I'm going to get them. I don't care what you guys say. 70% of America says legalize weed. As long as it's a law book and I can lock you up for more than an ounce, I got you. I'm going to get you. Okay. Well, we got some animal laws on the books that the sheriff doesn't care about. Reportedly, that horse issue from a few months ago, sheriff wanted no part of it, wouldn't investigate it, wouldn't look into it. They had to bring in the Department of Agriculture. So now people are screaming the Department of Agriculture now on this Carlos Centillan case because there are cops from inside the sheriff's office saying that the sheriff loves Carlos. He's going to treat Carlos with kid gloves and where a lot of people get over accused. Carlos is currently being under accused because the sheriff likes Carlos. But I understand there are a couple of state agencies that are off in the high grass watching, letting sheriff play like he's doing a good investigation, and when he kid gloves the situation, they're going to come out of the woods and they're going to take over and they're going to handle it and they're going to apply the proper warrants. But the bigger issue might be what I'm watching right now. We're going to tally this whole thing up with this last little piece. Some of these personnel decisions that have happened. Think about that lady from, I don't know what you call Kelsey's office, the office of do it all. She was giving loans to her boss, and when the loans quit, and she told her boss, I can't give you any more loans. My husband's I can't do it. Within a couple of weeks, even though this girl had never been written up, she'd never been counseled, they got rid of her. And the appeals process for her was trash. Um, we watched some of that stuff. We hoped that the county, the HR department, somebody would step in and fix it. The board of commissioners would step in and fix it. They didn't fix it. Uh, but now what I'm watching, what I feel like all them names I just named, and studying what happened to those people, I feel like I'm watching it happen right now with a current employee that's got nothing in her personnel file. 6 years working here with no write-ups. But I feel like slow motion, I am watching Monroe County prepare to punt this girl right out of the county. And I'm talking about Lisa Holthouse. You know, Lisa's a weird bird. She's different than everybody around here. Uh, Lisa lacks, there's right and wrong, right? This land in the middle that some of us play in, Lisa don't have it. It don't exist. Uh, you know, she would make probably worse than Becky. Becky might back off if something had to be done and the sheriff's department backed away and didn't want to do it, you know. Lisa might be stronger with holding feet to the fire, with making sure the right thing is done. People are handled the right way. Laws or policies, everything's followed. That's going to be Lisa. I'll give you an example. I really don't like Lisa that much. Uh, because of the way I just explained how she is. I got a ticket from Lisa. Well, she wasn't even there. She was on the phone. Forsyth Police called her. She told, I heard her on the phone through the guy's speakerphone. Write him a ticket for dogs running at large. Now, I got out of that ticket because the Forsyth cops screwed it all the way up. But I was in the animal control office a couple months after that. And there was somebody talking about a case with the animals running at large. And Becky said, well, it's office policy that as long as a dog didn't attack anybody, didn't maim anybody, nothing like that, the dog's just loose, you're going to get a warning first time. And I immediately said, wait a minute. I didn't get a warning. Lisa wrote me a ticket. Why? She said, I don't know. Ask Lisa. Lisa! Here comes Lisa. Why'd you write me a ticket? You didn't give me a warning. She looked at me and she said, law don't say I have to give you a warning. And out she went. That's Lisa. But she's an employee currently, today, with no write-ups, no problems. But when, just a few weeks ago, there was an event in the county. Carlos was there with Jennifer, the new boss, and the sheriff walked up. Sheriff looked at Jennifer standing next to Carlos, the other 2 out of 3 animal control employees. Only one wasn't there, and that's Lisa. Carlos said, you've got personnel issues down there at your office. You need to make some changes. He obviously is not talking shit about Carlos, who he loves, who's right here. The only one that wasn't there is Lisa. Now you tell me why a sheriff, a department head of another county department, would be trying to manipulate and erode the ground underneath another county employee's feet. Why would he do that? Why would he try to get rid of her? Because when Lisa's out there and something requires a deputy, and the deputy doesn't want to come out there and deal with it, she makes them. I don't know how she does it, but she makes them. But it's not just Lori. Lori's the one that promoted Carlos over Lisa. Lisa went to college. She's got a degree in veterinary stuff. You know, here's the thing about Lisa. If people don't like her because she's so tight with right and wrong and whatever, well, if you make her administrator, 80% of her time is going to be in the office. It's not going to be out there on the street being strict with people or you know. But it's not just Lisa. There's all over this county. There were people that have labeled Lisa as a problem because she's the way she is. And I'm just asking the people, isn't that what we want as a county employee? or a department head, as a county official, a government official, why would we be negative to the person that does it the right way? That just puts your foot down and will not let you push her to do it the wrong way. Won't let you push her to cover something up. She demands it be done the right way. Why in the hell would we make moves to hurt her standing in Monroe County? It's not just the sheriff. There's others in the county commission building, elected officials. Somebody told me today they thought that Carlos has probably been doing what he's been doing for a long time, and Lisa probably knew it and let it happen. Lisa's the one that went to the police department when he told her what he did. She verified it on the camera and took it to the cops. But everybody's got this, mindset that Carlos is some kind of god. Now, somebody else told me a story today. I don't know if I believe it or not, but they said that they had pumped Carlos's head up so big. Monroe County, HR, Lori, commissioners, the sheriff, chief deputy, everybody pumped up Carlos. And then they recognized Carlos can't be an administrator. He doesn't have the attributes. I don't know why we don't have a testing process man, Monroe County, the one department they've not updated since I've been here in 2004, the same HR directors here, the same stupid ass policies, the same terrible way. I don't know why anybody would apply here. Don't, because you've got no protection. They're going to treat you like shit. You're not going to get a proper hearing. You're just, I don't even know. When people call me now about the problems they got in Monroe County, what do you expect? There's a friggin' long history of this kind of crap in Monroe County, and you applied for the job. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know. But I'm watching, in my opinion. I don't understand why Jennifer got here. Things that I'm hearing that rescues, only one rescue. We had a bunch of them. A lot of them had to be manipulated by Becky. Becky did a lot of that, picking up the phone. Please come get some of these dogs. We got this kind of dog. We got that kind of dog. That's what Becky's job was. Let's not kill them. Let's coordinate with rescues. Let's get them in here. Let's get these dogs out. I'm being told from previous Jones Countyans and Bibb Countyans and Lamar's and whatever's, this one we got ain't that one. They're gonna, but now we got a problem. I don't remember ever seeing all the memos up that the last 2 days they've been closed. People are coming by. Animal control's closed. We're full. We ain't taking no more dogs. She's not euthanizing. She's afraid to euthanize. Carlos had told me when that Lisa was blackballed. They locked Lisa out of the office. Carlos sent me a picture of the door. They put a lock on it. Carlos can get in. Jennifer can get in. The maintenance man can get in. Not Lisa. There's stuff in that office Lisa needs to have. If Lisa comes in on a Friday or Saturday or Sunday when nobody else is there but her, she can't get in. Alienation, right? That's what this new girl, alienation. She's already alienating. When Carlos got named, whatever. I'm being told the reason that happened was they pumped his head up so damn big, and then they decided, oh shit, he can't do it. We're fucked up again. They hired her ass from Noonan, I guess. I'm being told, I've heard it from one person, that Carlos threatened to quit right then and there. I guess maybe he was disrespected. I don't know. He was going to quit. So that's where they came up with this assistant manager crap. 3 employees, 1 manager, an assistant manager, and 1 animal control officer. Was what they tried to do. Gave him a shit ton more money, and he stayed. Because, again, everybody loves Carlos. He's a nice guy. Everybody loves him. If he leaves, it's going to make us look bad. We can't make him leave. Make him stay. And then the 2 of them buddied up and hung Lisa out to dry. Wouldn't talk to her. Wouldn't let her in rooms. They just fucked her this weekend. Carlos was supposed to cover this weekend. Lisa was on vacation. Carlos decides on what, Friday or something like that. He's going to Tennessee. He's going to take the time off. I mean, the director should have been like, "No, she's on vacation. It's your weekend. You can't do that." We did it. And Lisa had to come in and feed. And the dogs in there didn't get any shit cleaned up for a few days because they didn't have somebody coming in. It was Carlos. But the funny thing is, Carlos was supposed to be out of town, but he didn't go out of town because Carlos is about to have Monroe County in the lawsuit for something happened this weekend. I don't know what day it was. But Carlos went out there with a deputy and something about a dog and who owned the dog, and the deputy and Carlos took the dog from one people and gave it to the other people. Well, these other people messaging me, the families of the people and all this stuff, they're in my inbox. They got paperwork now to show that the dog that Carlos and the deputy gave to that guy, it belongs to that guy. So now tomorrow, they want to go out there and strong arm that dog away from who they gave it to, the deputy and Carlos, to get it back from them and give it to this guy because he's got paperwork and he's got paperwork. And I don't know shit. I'm stupid. But think about one of them squatter things at the house. You know, they go to a squatter house and this guy's like, I've got a lease. Well, landlord said, that lease ain't real. That's fake. That ain't right. And the deputies used to say, listen, man, I don't know if that lease is legal. I don't know if that's what you got. I don't know nothing. Civil matter. If I'm Lisa, if I'm Jennifer, I'm not going to that house tomorrow to have anything to do with that deputy pulling that dog out of that man's hands and give it to that man. I ain't doing it. That's a civil matter. The cop created that civil matter if he took the dog wrongly and stuck his nose in a civil matter. I'll be damned if I'm going to assist in it. But these people are telling me that animal control said they were coming out there tomorrow. Since we're on animal control, I'm finishing it up. Like I said, I think that I bet you Lisa gets fired in a month. I don't think she's going to last 30 days. She might. Some people think that she's earned her shot to be the director. Some people think that. If all she did was sit in her office and deal with disputes properly and the county budgets and all that crap, I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like I'm watching the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning. They're conspiring to get rid of Lisa. Someone did message me. They said that's what Jennifer does. This is what I'm predicting because this has come from somebody else that knows Jennifer from Jones. They said Lisa's got nothing in her file. Nothing, right? What Jennifer's going to do is her playbook from the past. Someday she's going to take a list of things down to Lori Robinson and it's going to be 6 allegations of things that she claims that Lisa does shitty at work. Unsubstantiated claims. She never got verbal counseling, written counseling, nothing. No witnesses to any of that stuff. But these things will be presented and she'll be called in and gone. When I heard that's what Jennifer did to a girl in Jones, I was like, Monroe County plays that game. This chick has the playbook to what Monroe County's already playing. And from hearing things from Carlos, before I probably won't talk to Carlos much more anymore, but Jennifer already started cutting her out. There's a rumor that Jennifer's got somebody that she wants in that spot. Kick Lisa out, fill it with her person. And she thought Carlos and her person is going to be greatness. But see what Jennifer was trying to get Carlos to be the face of the organization. Let Carlos be the one out here dealing with the people. Because Jennifer's got a bad track record for dealing with people, employees, volunteers. So her plan was let Carlos deal with the people. Everybody loves Carlos. He'll deal with the people. I'll stay in here and deal with paperwork and policies and stuff. Lisa will, without changing her job title, will fucking make Lisa the dog shit cleaner upper girl. Kennel attendant. Telling you, that's my prediction. Bunch of previous HR errors and stupid moves by the county promoting people that they don't even know who they're promoting or what their capabilities are. They only know that they've been good people. They keep secrets. They don't tell on us. So, prediction. That's all this video is. A prediction. It's a long road of bullshit. Several of them names I mentioned. Matt Perry never should have got hired. Jason Lott should have fucking filed a lawsuit. Ashley should have filed a lawsuit. Fulmore should have filed a lawsuit. Landry Merkelson, he can't file a lawsuit because he didn't work here. But he got screwed. He should be here right now. Matt Jackson. You know, there's no lawsuit for him. But Carlos, I mean, damn. Oh, God, I don't even know what to say about Carlos. Breaks my heart. Anyway, that's my prediction. Good night.